I usually don't spoil movies that are this brand new, but I'm still trying to cope with the disappointment of this one, and maybe this will help me. Let's do it. The Strangers Chapter 1 opens up with this, like, unintelligible 911 call. Honestly, can't even tell you what it said. We also see this guy running through the woods, and obviously he's running from somebody, and he does not manage to get away, and he is stopped by one of the strangers, and he takes an axe to him, and then we cut to this couple, Maya and Ryan, and they are driving to Portland because Maya has a job interview out there. So they're doing like this little road trip, and it also happens to be their 5-year anniversary. While they're on the highway, Ryan decides that he's hungry, so Maya pulls up her phone and decides to lead them to the first place that comes up, which is called like Cindy's Diner or some random name. So the GPS takes them off the highway. They almost get in an accident because Maya decides to kiss Ryan while he's driving the vehicle. And they end up literally in the middle of the woods, and Maya's phone stops working. And instead of just turning around and getting back on the highway, they continue into a town called Venus, Oregon. They pull into this town and the locals are just super weird. Like there's these mechanics across the street, like dead ass staring at them as they pull into the diner. They go in the diner and eat. Everybody in there is super fucking weird too. And they see a missing sign. And we can see from the missing poster that this is the guy that got killed in the beginning. So Ryan and Maya pay, they leave, and of course their car doesn't fucking start. So the mechanic across the street that was eyeing them earlier comes over and is like, I can help you, but I can't get the part till tomorrow. Ryan's like, obviously you guys fucking did this, like I saw you staring at us. And Maya's just trying to be nice and is like, no, it's okay. Clearly nobody told her that being nice gets you fucking killed. So anyway, they decide to spend the night and the locals direct them to this Airbnb. So they're driven there by one of the locals. Obviously, it's a cabin in the middle of the fucking woods. Maya realizes that the fridge isn't working, so she calls the owner asking him to come fix it. I think his name's like Joe or something. So they're hanging out and all of a sudden there's this knocking at the door. Ryan goes to answer the door and we just see this like silhouetted figure and she asks, is Tamara here? They tell her, no, you've got the wrong house. So she leaves and at this point Ryan realizes that he left his inhaler in the car. But he's like, it's fine, I just saw a motorcycle outside, I'll drive that into town and I'll get us something to eat. So he goes into town and leaves Maya alone, and of course she starts hearing shit. And once again there's a knock on the door and it's the same girl asking if Tamara's home. Maya sends her away again. She goes to look for her cell phone, which is not in the place that she left it. And we, the audience, can see at this point that there's someone in the house. So Maya does what any rational person would do, and she sits at the piano and just starts playing over the music that's already playing. We, the audience, see the camera pan out, and in the mirror above Maya, we see this fucking stranger sitting in the chair behind her. And then, of course, the power turns off. Maya uses the flashlight on her cell phone to find the fuse box, but when she turns the corner, she sees this fucking stranger staring at her. So Maya runs upstairs and she hides in a closet. Obviously, she's freaking out. She hears footsteps coming and somebody starts to open the door, but turns out it's just fucking Ryan. He asks Maya to lead him to the fuse box and then completely gaslights her that she didn't actually see anybody and she's just high. So Maya calms down and the two of them sit at the table in the kitchen to go eat. And all of a sudden they notice that blood starts dripping on the table. And they look up and sure enough, they find a dead bird. So Maya's like, see, I told you somebody was in the house. Before they can even process what's going on, this dude with the sack on his head starts axing down the front door. So Maya and Ryan run upstairs to hide in a bedroom and they barricade themselves in. And the stranger follows them up there and starts axing the door, and they simply just stare at him and watch him get into the room. They don't try to get out a window. They don't try to find any weapons, but eventually the guy just leaves. So at this point they're toying with them. So Ryan's like, okay, the motorcycle is still outside. We got to get on that and drive back into town. But of course, as they're approaching it, it just blows up, sets on fire. So they run back inside and they barricade themselves in the bathroom, and they realize that the house is a crawl space. They start to crawl through the crawl space and Maya impales her hand on a rusty nail. They end up making it outside and they run to the shed where Ryan is able to find a shotgun. Meanwhile, Maya is attacked in there by two of the strangers, but Ryan shoots at them, obviously missing, but scares them away. So the strangers run away and one of these bitches dead ass runs like this. I did this in my review yesterday, but I have to do it again. So they take the shotgun and they run after them, and as they're circling the porch, they hear somebody at the front door. Ryan turns the corner and shoots, and turns out, of course, it's none of the strangers, it's Joe, the fucking landlord. So this poor man dies. Ryan and Maya are obviously distraught, but they end up grabbing his car keys and getting in his car. But before they're able to drive away, these motherfuckers ram into them with their truck. Ryan ends up pinned, so he tells Maya to get out and run away, which she reluctantly does. Ryan ends up getting his leg out and is able to shoot at Sackhead Dude and misses, again, obviously. Maya, meanwhile, runs into the woods and she's able to camouflage herself like Peeta Mellark in the Hunger Games. She takes out the cell phone that she just took out of Joe's truck and manages to call 911. Obviously, they can barely fucking hear her, but they say they're gonna trace the call. Maya continues to try to run away, but of course she ends up running into one of the strangers and is knocked out. The strangers, by the way, who wear little beanies instead of showing their hair. I don't know what that's about. Meanwhile, Ryan takes the gun and searches for Maya and runs into this bitch. He literally holds the gun to her head and delivers a 30-minute soliloquy about how he's gonna kill her, but obviously never gets to and is knocked out by the guy. So of course our next shot is of Ryan and Maya both waking up, tied up in the living room. They have this like heartwarming last moment where Ryan asks Maya to marry him, but of course the strangers just simply don't fucking care and they stab Ryan in the stomach and then knock his chair over, which causes him to bleed out. Maya asks them why they're doing this, to which this bitch answers, "Because you're here." Very anticlimactic compared to the original. And then they stab Maya and knock her chair over as well. However, before they can do any more damage, they hear police sirens in the background because it turns out they were able to trace Maya's location. And that scares these three little motherfuckers away and they run off into the night. The final shot that we get is Maya waking up in the hospital screaming. And that's it. And then it says to be continued.